In Israel, there are currently around 60,000 refugees and asylum seekers. Most of them are located in the southern part of Tel Aviv. 73% of them come from Eritrea, while 19% originate from Sudan. In 2015, less than 1% of asylum seekers were granted refugee status. Most of them do not have the permission to work. In order to hear a personal testimony, we met David in Tel Aviv. He tells us about his experience in Israel.
The army, they welcomed us well. They gave us water and the basic things, and then they took us to prison. So I was in prison for 3 months. I expected a lot from Israel, as a strong and relatively democratic country, and because of the history of Jewish people, no one knows what's been a refugee than Jewish, but it was very less than I expect. There is a law, it's called Prevention of Infiltration Law. They can send to anyone to this prison, which is in the middle of the desert on the border with Sinai. If you don't have a working permit, if you don't have a document that the system knows, and then it's very easy, first to find a job, and second to be violated by your employers. When I see it now, the Israeli government is saying, yes, our citizens are suffering because of them, but they don't want to take any action. They don't want to spread us from this place, or they don't want to give us any document that the system knows and we can live everywhere. So it might be, they might, did it intentionally. One of the Israeli politicians, she said, these Africans are cancer in our body. And this is what Trump and other extremists is saying. So I would say to all of them that there is no one who can, no one is choosing to be in that situation. No one will prefer to be called illegal. Imagine that I'm sitting in front of a human being like me and telling me, yeah, you're right, but you're illegal. You know that, like, what makes me being illegal? There's nothing worse to hear than this.
What does it make you feel like when people say they are just coming because they're lazy?
It's a lie. We are a hard-working people. Imagine that we are living in this hard situation, but we're still managing to live. So I would say that to these people to imagine themselves to be in our situation, and they can understand how hard it is or how horrible it is. So I would say to these politicians that you mentioned that we didn't choose to be refugees. We have a state. We would love to be in our state. We would love to work in our state. But unfortunately, there is an inhuman regime in our countries, and we are just looking a safe place until we go back to our countries.
Now we'll hear Vladi and Gilad present to us their perspective about refugees in Israel.
My name is Vladi. I'm 23 years old. I was making Aliyah from Ukraine when I was 2.5 years old. We have a big problem with these refugees. A lot of criticism is going to Israel, how we reacting to this thing. Not all of the refugees are refugees. They're people that came to Israel to work. It's a lot of money that came from organizations around the world to change Israel policy. That Sinai now is a war zone with ISIS. So if they know that the border is closed, it will be safer for them. I think what I know from the permits, if they work, they get work like every Israeli in Israel. They get.
My name is Gilad, study computer science. I'm 30 years old and I'm a native in Israel. I thought it's going to pose a problem to Israel. I don't think Israel is capable of dealing with extra problems. I think it's absolutely forbidden to make comparisons between Holocaust and any other situation. I think this should be dealt very quickly. You have to decide. I'm not saying here or there. You have to sit, professional people, and decide, are they going to stay or are they going to leave? If they're going to stay, you have to give them the means to reconstruct their lives very fast. Everybody's losing if they're staying and they're not.